By the way, this control board is going to be used on my water-cooled 3D printer, so stay tuned for that. Hey guys, one of my first Ender3 3D printer upgrade was a new motherboard, mostly because I was so annoyed with the sound that the printer was making. If you ever had a 6-hour print queued up and you had to listen to that for 6 hours, you know it gets old really quickly unless you have a dedicated space where you can put your printer and forget about it, which then in turn introduce a lot of safety factors that you should consider as well. So one of the best things that you can do, especially for original Ender 3, is to upgrade the motherboard to a silent stepper motor 1. And that's what I did, and I got myself SKR Mini E3 v1.2 first, which now has been upgraded with v3. And since 1.2 version was already quiet, I didn't really expect much of an improvement, and oh boy, I was in for a surprise. Just look at this thing. It reminds me of all of those gamers motherboards 10 years ago going through that phase of being just not so nice looking to really appealing to gamers with all the excessive features and nice aesthetics. And I think we're kind of heading there with 3D printing right now, when a lot of people are caring not just about the printer's performance, but also how their tool is looking like. So I think BigTreeTech took a lot of that feedback in consideration when designing the v3.0 board. It looks really stunning and delivers on the most popular and requested upgrade features for your 3D printer. The nice beefy heatsink is helping to cool the silent 2209 TMC stepper motor drivers, and the board itself introduces the following features. We have dual Z stepper connectors, so if you fancy upgrading your printer into the driven by 2 stepper motors in the Z-axis, that's the board for you. There is a native BL Touch connector. We also have a slot for TFT, so if you want to add a touchscreen, another great feature to have. If you don't need it, there is also a traditional connector for the regular display for your printer. We have 3 now PWM controlled fans. You could take over the cooling profiles for your printer. There is a Filament runout support, as well as the support for automatic shutdown, power off and resume, and UPS support. So if you're running your printer in an area that suffers from power outages often, then you should really consider this. Anyone who wants to show off even further can try sensorless homing or adding a Neopixel strip to your printer, because there is a connector for that as well. And the list actually goes on, and I'm gonna mention some of the extra features later on in a setup guide in the second part of this video. For now, I just want to answer the fundamental question: should you buy SKR Mini E3 v3.0? The board comes with a form factor which is suitable for all Ender 3 printers, Ender 5 and CR10. If you have a different printer, you can still take advantage of this board, providing you're gonna find a way to house it. I mean, you can 3D print a housing, so it's not a big problem. Should you buy it? If you are original Ender 3 owner, especially if you just got the Ender 3 on some sort of nice bargain sale, and you've paid very little because Ender 3 was superseded by v2, then definitely yes. All that money that you've saved by striking a deal on original Ender 3 now can be used to upgrade your printer, and the first upgrade that you should really consider is the motherboard. First, it will enable quiet printing. Just listen to this. Second of all, it will enable a lot of different upgrades that you will have access to later on. You don't have to jump the gun and get all of them at the same time, but if the money is consideration, then buy the controller first. It only costs less than $60, and then plan your upgrade path ahead. That way you won't spend all that money at once, and you'll still be ahead of what you would spend on Ender 3v2. So what if you have Ender 3v2? Should you buy this board? Well, my answer is maybe. I can't blame anyone with Ender v2 for not jumping the gun and not getting the board straight away. It's already quieter than original Ender, and getting a board like this, it's not going to improve the print quality for you. But if you are interested in upgrading your printer further, and doing it sooner rather than later, then you should definitely consider it, because this controller is really nicely featured and it's perfectly suitable for your printer. So if you bought the original Ender 3 at discounted price, has been superseded by v2, then you can use that save up money and spend extra $50 on the BigTreeTech board and enjoy much quieter performance. And if your deal was particularly good, like often they are on Banggood, I mean the lowest I've seen one was for 120, I think £6. That would be much cheaper than getting Ender v2. So if you already know that your upgrade path for the Ender 3 v2 will take you further than the ability of the Creality 4.2.2 or 4.2.7 boards, then perhaps spending that extra $50 on the BigTreeTech board is something you should definitely do. If you're new to 3D printing and you are a little bit scared of upgrading, don't worry. In this part of the video I'm going to explain the basic of what you're supposed to look out for when you're swapping your motherboard. It might come in handy if you get your hands on the v3.0 and you want to swap your board inside a 3D printer. First of all, I would strongly recommend that you get yourself one of those JST connector kits, which come with a crimper and a couple of connectors, because it's gonna make your life much easier, especially if you have to extend any of the cables. But frankly speaking, if you're not adding upgrades straight away, the replacement of the board is pretty much just a simple swap, especially that the firmware is already compiled for the Ender 3. And if this is your first time, do check out my article with a written description of everything and extra pictures, which is going to be linked in the description of this video. So let's get started with that. It is advisable that you take a picture of your old board and all the connections, just in case you're going to get lost with something. Now disconnect everything, remove the board, and let's start connecting it in. As the board has exactly the same form factor, you shouldn't have any problems fitting it right in. What's new is obviously the micro USB connector, which you previously was using a mini USB connector, so that's the only difference. Let's start with the power delivery. By default you can power this board with 24 volts or 12 volts, it's down to you, but most of Ender 3 printers will come with a 24 volt power supply. Now depending on the power supply, that voltage is going to be available across the board, and it will define what kind of components you can use it. So if you are using 24 volt power supply, your hot end, your fans, etc., they'll have to be 24 volt compatible. In the same manner, if you're using 12 volt power supply, you'll have to match those two. A lot of components on the 3D printer actually don't have polarity, but connecting power isn't one of them, so pay extra attention when connecting power supply. Incorrectly connecting your power supply will definitely result in damage to your motherboard, so triple check everything before you switch the power on. As for hotbed and the hot end cartridges to heat them up, they don't usually require any polarity, and they work in opposite polarity unless your manuals specify otherwise. If you have stock elements, you can just swap them around, you don't have to pay that much attention to it. Next up are thermal probes or thermistors. They also don't have any polarities. They are simple resistors, so it doesn't matter how you're gonna connect them. Most of them, they already come with JST connectors, so it's hard to plug them in wrong way around. As long as you plug the hotbeds to the THB and the hotends to TH0, you'll be just fine. The same goes for stepper motors. You might be slightly confused at first at ZAM and ZBM, but those are two connectors for the dual Z-axis. Now if you only have one stepper for Z-axis, then connect it to ZAM. Most of the connectors there already have the polarity, so you shouldn't have any problems. Just connect them as they were before. Pay attention to the print marks underneath the heatsink and you'll be just fine. Fans of Octoprint or Clipper will be very pleased to know that there is a special jumper that you can use to disable or enable power via USB. Do you remember that annoying fact when you have a Octoprint running 24/7 and your motherboard is connected and the screen is connected to motherboard and that is 24/7 on despite your printer being off? Well, now you can control that. If you disable the power, you no longer have to rely on the USB cable hack to disable power. You can just flip the jumper and receive the required power configuration. Just remember, if you want to use the computer directly to flash the firmware to the board, you want the jumper to be present so the board would receive the power. Next up is the BL Touch, and they usually come in two configurations. First, it's the 5-pin connection, which is self-explanatory. You only can connect it one way. But if your board has 3+2 connectors, then you have to connect them in a specific way, and I've outlined this in the picture. Just bear in mind that not all Z probes are 5 volts compatible, and if that's the case, you might want to recompile the Marlin to make sure that that socket only uses 5 volts. Endstops are also terminated with GST connectors, so there shouldn't be any real problems there. Just observe the labels on your cables to make sure you connect them in the right places. A new thing in here is the ability to add sensorless homing. It allows you to remove the end switches and replace those with the TMC ability to detect stalls. It means that you can define homing using stall technique rather than Z switches. Now if you're new to all of that, I probably should make a separate video just on that subject. So if you're just getting started, just leave it as it is. If you are not using Octoprint, one of the best upgrades to your 3D printer is honestly adding a touchscreen display, because it speeds everything up, especially leveling the bed. It's so much more convenient that I could not live without it, and that's why I got myself 2 screens for 2 of my printers, despite running Octoprint. Now these can be connected to TFT port, but if you just have a standard screen, there is extension or expansion port 1, which you can utilize for the standard screen. It's all pretty much plug and play. Now do pay extra care to configuration of the TFT screen to make sure you are connecting it correctly. Another new thing is the ability to control up to 3 fans using PWM signal, which means you will be in charge of how quickly they spin. Now there's a couple of things here that you should bear in mind. First of all, fan 0 is your cooling part fan. Fan 1 is your extruder fan that is responsible for cooling your extruder. And fan 2 is the fan that is usually dedicated to cooling the electronics. With PWM controlled fans, bear in mind that if you set the PWM signal to be too low, you might end up with a fan stall, so check what is the minimum level to which your fan can rotate. Now, when you're connecting fans, it's also important to connect them correctly, so do observe the polarity, because if you connect them all the way around, they will still spin, just not the direction you want. Another feature available on the board is the ability to connect Neopixels or RGB strips. Now, they utilize strip-in connector, which is data, 5 volts and ground, and there's a bit of a confusion in here. Now by default you can't really power them from that connector itself. What you need is a special DC bridge, which will gonna translate that 24 volts into 5 volts or power your LED strip separately. If you're going to use that connector that is also sold by BigTreeTech, then you will be able to power up to 30 LEDs, which is more than plenty for a 3D printer. Now if you're going to go with a separate power supply. Don't forget to share the ground from the power supply you're using for your LEDs with the board itself to allow data not to be corrupted, because it's going to use that ground as a reference. There is a jumper on the board that will help you decide whether you want to use the DC-DC connector from the BigTreeTech or separate power supply, so don't forget to switch that. Another cool feature that you can add to your 3D printer is the filament runout, something I covered in this video there, and it allows you to basically change the filament once you run out without disturbing your print. Awesome. Now you have a dedicated connector, which is just outlined in a picture in there, but you also have a sensorless option, so you can use that with different configurations. I'm not entirely sure how that would work with a sensorless homing for that, but the option is there and you can take advantage of that. Just an extra tip for anyone trying to make their runout sensors themselves. Those switches comes with two configurations, normally open and normally closed, and you have to define them in a firmware. So if your switch isn't working correctly, just look into your firmware or connect the switch in an opposite configuration. Another feature that I personally haven't tried is the power cutoff detection and UPS support. Now BigTreeTech has already some relays and extra UPS, a small UPS that will let your printer finish its task, not entire print, but the last task, and shut down gracefully before the actual power cut ruins your print. So if you live in an area where those happen quite often, you probably want to look into that and see what are your options for either shutting down your print gracefully or keeping your printer running on the UPS support with the relay. And lastly, we still haven't access to all the interfaces because BigTreeTech SKR Mini E3 version 3.0 comes with additional I/O pins that you can use to pretty much wherever you like, and SPI interface that you can use to connect to other components. Now, personally, I haven't tried that for anything, but if you have the head in the right space, you can use Merlin to, well, use those pins to your advantage and connect awesome accessories. So do let me know what you're gonna do with that. I'm well aware that some of these features will require looking into Merlin and compiling the mirroring for yourself. The process isn't as difficult as you might expect, and I covered that for Ender 3 already in this video, so if you are looking for something to get started, take a look at that video and that will give you an idea what to do with it. One of the things I'd like to mention, my first flash didn't work for some reason, so the only way to send a new firmware was to rename the firmware to firmware.bin and then put it in your card, power on the printer, and then press the reset button on the board itself. And after that I had no problem flashing any of the firmware. So if you get stuck with that, just try that out and hopefully that will work for you moving onwards. Now, the board itself, it's a great basis for your upgrades, but if you want to take the game even further, there are some awesome upgrades you can have from BigTreeTech store, including water-cooled extruder, extra touchscreens, and a couple of all components that I'm going to list in the description of this video. Now, what I'm planning next is, obviously you already seen the snippets of my water-cooled printer. I can't wait to show you all of that, and I'm also attempting to turn a printer into a completely silent printer so it could run next to me without me worrying about all the noise it's making and probably interrupting my videos. So stay tuned for that. So do check out the article linked in the description for more details, and if you want to get notification about all other projects that I'm gonna work, including those I mentioned, and well, take advantage of YouTube tools. They'll let you know everything you need, and if you want to get an update of my projects in progress, then it's best to follow me on social media. Also, if you have cool upgrades to share, or you want to send any links in the comments of the YouTube videos, these get suspended by YouTube and I have no access to them. It's really annoying, so share them over social media as well. Let me know what you think. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.